American astronaut who survived a dramatic failure of a Russian rocket says he's lucky the emergency abort system worked. Sure is. Astronaut Nick Hague was one of two people in the capsule when something went wrong, plunging them back down to Earth. This was the first launch abort of the normally reliable Soyuz rocket in 35 years. The mishap grounded the program indefinitely. It is the only way for U.S. astronauts to get to space. Tony Dokoupil is here with how Hague described the emergency landing. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Now, Hague is a former Air Force test pilot, which means he's had some close calls before, but nothing quite like this. He'd been training for the mission to the space station for the past 2 years. His wife and children were there to watch what was supposed to be his first trip into space. Things did not go as planned.
I imagined that my first trip to outer space was going to be a memorable one. I didn't expect it to be quite this memorable.
Engines at maximum thrust.
Astronaut Nick Hague and cosmonaut Alexei Ovchinin were 2 minutes into their climb to orbit, traveling at 4 times the speed of sound when their Soyuz rocket failed.
It went from normal to something was wrong pretty quick.
A strap-on booster apparently crashed into the side of the rocket's central booster and burst into a cloud of debris. The automatic abort system detected trouble and threw the crew's capsule up and away.
The first thing I really noticed was being shaken fairly violently side to side as that safety system pulled us away from the rocket. You're a little bit startled, and then I saw the booster failure light inside the capsule, and at that point, I realized, hey, we're not going to make it to orbit today, and your training kicks in and you're ready to respond. And so Alexei and I changed gears.
A crew member aboard the space station caught the moment on camera. If you look closely, you can see the Soyuz capsule nearly reaching the edge of space before gravity pulled it back down to Earth.
There was a point where I looked out the window and I saw the curve of the Earth out there and the blackness of space, and it was a bittersweet, fleeting moment knowing that I got that close. What can you do? Sometimes you don't get a vote.
Hague and Ovchinin landed safely in Kazakhstan, about 250 miles from the launch site. There, the crewmates hung upside down in their capsule, waiting for help.
We looked at each other. We had grins from ears to ears. He holds out a hand. I shake his hand, and then we start, cracking a few jokes between us about how short our flight was.
The two were treated to a snack and a medical checkup before being reunited with their families, including Hague's wife, Katie.
I got to tell you that when we finally got to hug each other coming down off the plane, it was a bit of release for both of us, the emotions that we'd been kind of holding back just to stay focused on the situation. As for the boys, my youngest, God bless him, he looks at me and he goes, "Dad, when are you going back to space?"
Well, on that point, the Russians are investigating, trying to find out exactly what went wrong. Hague says he wants to go back again, but he's not sure when he'll get another chance, maybe just next year. He also said that after he landed, he stood outside the capsule and tried to call his wife on a satellite phone, but the call went to voicemail. He left her a message saying he'd had one wild ride. Not much luck with technology for him that day.
Yeah, I love his son's reaction when he's going back to space.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's so calm and so focused. I like what he says, goes from normal to something wrong very quickly, and sometimes you don't get a vote.
When they came crashing down, they were speaking in Russian because he has to speak. So imagine you're getting jostled
upside down,
and you've
other
got to
language.
speak in Russian.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
We're glad
Former
he's
Air
home.
Force test pilot. Those guys know what they're doing.
Well, that's, yeah. He
Very
can,
cool
he can
guy.
come to me for some Russian lessons next time before he comes up next year.
Very cool guy.
Tony, thank you.